Jack Hanma has the most tormented and messed up mind I've ever seen in Baki. But before we start today's video, let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about Jack Hanma? Is he in your top 3? Even at a young age, Jack Hanma had a terrible childhood, in which Jack Hanma was training extremely hard, even at such a young age. And when a pastor had walked into a church to do his pastor duties, he had walked in on a young Jack Hanma standing in a pool of his own sweat and shaking uncontrollably. And when the pastor had asked Jack about why he was standing there, the young Jack had revealed how he was standing there to try to protect Jesus just as Jesus protects him, as well as Jack wishing that Jesus would hopefully grant Jack's wish of being the strongest creature alive. And even the pastor admitted, these dreams are only found in the imagination of children, but this time it was different. For Jack, this was much more than a mere dream. It was more of a clear goal that Jack had in mind. Jack would do push-ups until puddles of sweat would form beneath him, handstands until blood would stream from his nostrils and eyes. And what's even crazier than all of that is the fact that Jack would keep going until he passed out. And that was the way he concluded his training routine. He would keep going until he passed out. And this man Jack would do this every single day. To keep going until you pass out is simply a saying, and the human body is not exactly designed to consistently go past its limits every single day. To push yourself is one thing, but to push yourself until you collapse are two very different things. And they also have two very different effects on the human body, but I will revisit this subject a little later on. First, let's talk about Jack Hanma's main motivation. Jack's main motive is wanting to defeat his father, Yujiro Hanma, in order to avenge his mother, who is, well, R-worded by Yujiro Hanma. And at this point, Yujiro honestly has record numbers when it comes to doing this. Hell, he even threatened to do it to Mr. Tokugawa. But anyways, after taking a crazy amount of super steroids that made himself beyond unstable, Jack turned into a monster without balance who only cares about becoming stronger in order to take revenge on Yujiro. You see, Jack is an incredibly determined and stubborn person. He just doesn't know when to quit. Jack's overtraining would be suicidal if not for a mad scientist steroid cocktail being a part of his regimen. Jack has even gotten his skeleton surgically restructured multiple times in order to get bigger, even having half of his face bitten off by Pickle and waking up in the hospital twice, the second time from a severe coma. Jack still gets right back up and goes back to training as well as fighting like nothing ever happened. However, it can be said that he is sometimes too confident in his strength, which was shown in his fight versus Pickle. Jack trains way too much for his body to handle it, forcing him to resort to steroids and other medical methods in order to keep his strength growing steadily. You see, Jack is far too obsessed with beating Yujiro and avenging his mother, to the point to where he's blinded by that dream. Jack doesn't know many techniques and he often fights head on, but he just doesn't care if he has to sacrifice his own life to achieve his goal. If Jack wants to do something, he's gonna do anything he possibly can to achieve it, with even him saying that he's always prepared to die as long as his body gets strong enough to finally defeat his father. And when it comes to Baki and Jack's relationship, Jack sees his brother Baki Hanma as a rival, but also likes and cares for him deep in his heart. And this is mainly because they both share the same goal of surpassing Yujiro, as well as them both having the most heinous father in all of anime and manga history. Yujiro makes Shu Tucker from Full Metal Alchemist look like a fantastic father, and he turned his daughter into a dog. But anyways, following Jack's defeat at the hands of his brother Baki, he became much more humble and amicable towards his half-brother. Jack has learned to calm down and grow friendlier towards others, and he actually has perfect table manners. And before this change, he was hated by a lot of people in the community, mainly for his cockiness, arrogance, and lack of winning. To be honest, he was a punching bag for a good while in Baki. But now, this man Jack has had some crazy character development. Of course, it's not Vinland Saga level development, but he really has changed for the better as a character. And with Baki Rahen coming out, I'm sure his character is only getting better from here. And when it comes to intelligence, Jack's intelligence is relatively average, although he has shown himself to be quite a bit of a combat genius from time to time. And this is also likely due to his heritage as a Hanma and the son of Yujiro. However, after being defeated by Izo Omotabe, Jack actually reformed himself, and he now understands he will most likely never be as strong as he truly wanted. That is, when he's only focusing on brute force. He understood that he needs to learn more fighting techniques because this just wasn't cutting it. Therefore, he created an original fighting style, Gaudo, which consists in mainly focusing on his signature move, fighting. And Jack now looks more mature, calmed, and composed than ever. But with Motabe shattering all of Jack's teeth during their fight, he had to do something about it. All of his biting techniques are useless if he has the same amount of teeth as the chocolate lady from SpongeBob. So Jack actually had all of his teeth replaced with titanium dentures. And also, nobody really talks about the time that this man Jack literally killed a giant polar bear with his bare hands, and creating debatably the coldest Baki manga panel so far. However, the steroid usage from Jack does not go without risk, which was shown during Jack's fight versus Baki in the original Baki manga, in which Jack was actually winning the fight. With him actually injuring Baki, it was looking very good for Jack. But then something happened. Jack started spazzing out and his face started looking strained. And it ends up, Jack's body was contorting because of his steroids catching up with him. His body just couldn't withstand it anymore, with his right arm being bent in a way that it should not, and his whole bone was poking out of his skin. Then, Jack's neck started uncontrollably twisting, his fingers started snapping, and even his pupils started dilating. With all of this happening at once, Jack started screaming in pain, as well as him puking everywhere on the floor, which is once again probably not good. And just look at how much Jack had shrunk down at the end of this. He went from being Mr. Olympia to looking like he is a malnourished crackhead just waiting to steal the copper from your wires. And because of his now twisted and skinny body, Jack had lost the fight to the 17-year-old Baki. But Jack is still willing to continue to take steroids, knowing well the effects could be life-ending for him. But even as soon as Baki Rahen, Jack was questioned about his steroid usage, with this guy even comparing it to somebody simply rehydrating themselves. And when being asked if he has no shame about doing steroids, Jack simply said, "If something can make me stronger, I'll use it. Meat, vegetables, vitamins, it's all the same to him." But Jack, what if in the end these steroids ruin you? Jack wasn't even worried about that. He was just worried if he could get through his fight with Hanada. And if Jack could not get through the fight without his body failing him, he said in that case, this body is too weak, end of story. And because of Jack's mentality and just the way he is as a character, he truly has grown to become one of my favorite characters. And if you enjoyed today's video and would like to support me, then you can leave a like and subscribe. It's completely free on your end and helps me out way more than you may think. And if you would like to interact with me, my community, show off your art, drop some memes, talk in general, or maybe even self-promote, then you can join the Discord that can be found in the description box below. But that's gonna be all for today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!